I think that, we are constantly in contact and communication with our customers and clients. We run into them at church, we run into them at the grocery store.
Mm.
You really can't go anywhere in this town, and I'm constantly talking about real estate, and it's great.
Love it.
There's really nowhere I can go in this town and not talk about real estate, which is great. And we'll talk about building personal relationships and things like that here in a little while. But that small, I tell people that are moving here from bigger cities, and I love big cities. I had a great time in New York when I was there a couple of weeks ago. But I tell people that are moving from larger cities, uh, from from a commute standpoint, drive time, I could leave my house, drop my kids off at their elementary school, and be sitting in my office in 5 minutes. And a lot of you don't get that in big cities.
Oh,
and so when people move from larger cities, I always give them that story.
Wow.
That it's convenience, no traffic, but but once again though, like I said, North Georgia is the hub of the flooring industry, and so there's big business here, and there's a lot of commercial activity, which benefits both the job market, which is one thing that drives real estate.
Absolutely.
Jobs are important. And y'all know that from the lending environment.
Oh, too well do we know that. So.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you mentioned, so you mentioned community, being in like smaller communities, right? I'm sure they're not small, but relative to Atlanta, Georgia,
Sure,
those would be smaller markets, right? How do you see guys, you guys just kind of fitting into that community? And then what do you do for your agents in regards to just helping, because you've got several offices, right? And how do you build community inside of that space for you guys?
Well, the Kennards that founded the company were big supporters of all community activities, from the local ball teams to the Chamber of Commerce to anything in between. One example is of how we give back to our community and really get involved is in our Cleveland office, Cleveland, Tennessee. Our office up there, they do on 4th of July weekend, they do like 35. They give out little 3,500 flags, little American flags, and they put them all around the city of Cleveland. And so when you drive through the city of Cleveland, there's these little American flags lining all the streets, and the community absolutely loves it.
Yeah.
They all want a flag in their yard, and we get so many great comments. And they've done that. They were another Coldwell Banker company, and they merged in with us probably about 5 years ago, and they've had that tradition for years. And it's just a great way to get involved in the community, and all of our agents participate. And it just, it's a community and business partnership, and it's great. Our agents love it, and the community loves it too. We get so many good comments about that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, you're plugged in, right? You are a part, you're a fabric of the community that you got the offices that you're in, right? You just become, you are the community, right?
Our agents are so, it's hard to really pinpoint exactly what all of our agents are doing, whether it's a church activity, a church fundraiser. We read this, just recently we went to, an elementary schools and read Dr. Seuss books. And if you try reading a Dr. Seuss book to a bunch of second graders, the pressure's on, because Dr. Seuss has those tongue twisters and things like that in there. It's hard to read Dr. Seuss. So our agents really had to study up on the principal. Actually, when I was talking to the principal about it, who was actually my wife, she said that I needed to practice before I came to read Dr. Seuss. But stuff like that gets us out in the community.
Those kids will sniff it out.
They were correcting me how to pronounce the
considering their parents are reading
Seuss.
it too. Yeah, the only time you're in practice is when you have your own kids or grandkids. They're like, oh no. My mom used to read a Dr. Seuss book to me. It was the birthday book. And I love that book. It's actually my birthday in 2 days. I can't wait for my family to read it to me.
To read it to you.
Yeah. So it's she would skip pages, and I'd be like, No. We missed some of that. Go back.
That's right.
So that's great.
But we encourage our agents to be involved in the community, and we've got another event coming up here in Dalton. It's called the Healthcare Classic. It's a 5K race, a 1K and a 5K race. So we'll be there that morning. We're a sponsor, and we'll be there passing out energy bars and bottled water and things like that. It's sponsored by our local hospital. So we're constantly doing things like that, and it's important. In each small town we do a little bit different things, like the flags in Cleveland. We do other things in Dalton and Ringgold. So it's a lot of fun. It gets us out and about. Mm-hmm.
That's great.
People.
That's so good. Tell us a little bit about how you, because you weren't originally an owner, right? You kind of just stepped into this place and was an agent, right? And then at some point,
right.
You're like, hey, I think we can do more. Tell us about that.
Like I said, we were founded in 1974. I was originally licensed in 95. I went to the University of Georgia, go Dogs.
Yeah.
And I do have a BBA in real estate. So I got licensed while I was in Athens going to school. I immediately came back home to go to work for Bob and Dixie Kennard in 96.
Wow.
And, I was a sales agent for a few years, and then I kind of gradually moved into the management area and managed our offices up in the, Ringgold area for a few years, and then came back to Dalton and did some I was a sales manager for about 5 years.
Gosh.
And then the Kennards were, we were in the midst of negotiating a new franchise agreement, and timing was right for myself and my partners to purchase the company in 07.
Great.
And my two partners are both longtime agents as well. And so it was just a natural fit for us to, take over and purchase the company from the Kennards in 07. And those of y'all that have been in the business for quite a while, 04, 05, 06 was a great run of real estate. There was a lot of new construction going on. Prices were rising. And then in about mid 07, the subprime debacle happened, and we went into the Great Recession.
Oh yeah.
And so, we joke with Bob and Dixie all the time that they were the only ones that timed the real estate market correctly,
right?
Because they sold out right at the peak,
right?
Right at the beginning of 07,
mm-hmm.
and from 07 to 2010,
yeah,
we lost half our volume, and it was a tough time in real estate. So, but we learned a lot then. So that's kind of where we started from, and then we've built up over the years, and I think in the long run,
mm-hmm.
looking back on it, it was a very difficult time for everybody.
For sure.
It was tough for the real estate market, tough on people because of job loss. But from a personal perspective, our company became stronger because we learned to, manage our expenses and still provide the services that our agents need to provide good value to our customers and clients.